92 million jobs, they say by 2030 are gonna be wiped out, right? The way society is right now, there's just so much noise every single day in the world. So it's really distracting you from all the things that you need to actually do for yourself in your life.
Life happens, there's gonna be things that get in there, but just try your best to really put everything in order.
So as a realtor, I'm gonna say I have not seen it this bad ever in my entire career. Hey everyone, this is Falesha Raquel.
And this is Mark McLaughlin.
And today we wanna talk to you all about this famous thing, balancing your business and your personal life. So we're talking to you today about balance and business.
Balance and business. How do you do it, Falesha? Because I know you're balancing a lot.
So, oftentimes, more often than not, we actually get into these conversations where people are entrepreneurs now. A lot of people are really striving for businesses.
Yep.
They're trying to get ahead of the curve. 92 million jobs, they say by 2030 are gonna be wiped out, right? So a lot of people are really trying to figure out okay, they might work a 9 to 5, and then they actually have like a side hustle that they're doing after that. And then some people have children, they might have a spouse, but they're really getting caught up with the fact that they can't find that comfort zone to balance all of this, right? For me, I think the greatest thing is really time blocking. That's how I do it, right? I literally get up in the morning, I do what I gotta do, I do my devotion, my prayer, I work out. I don't even touch my phone. The first hour, I'm not touching my phone at all. Do all the things, I work out, obviously brush my teeth, take a shower, all of that stuff. And it's really that time for me. And then as soon as I'm in front of my screen by 8 o'clock and I'm with my staff and everything, I already know what the whole day it looks like. Because I actually, in fact, know what the day looks like prior to. Because I've already written down everything in my schedule that I have to tackle for that day. And then I really just focus on, okay, now if I'm done work, it's gonna be personal time. It's time for my husband, it's time for family, it's time to maybe I'm gonna walk my dog, even though it's not much my job, I keep that to my husband, right? But if I'm gonna walk my dog, I can put it in that gap, maybe cook some dinner. And really that's balance for me, is just knowing what my day looks like. And one thing I would say is not making somebody else's urgency my emergency.
I see. So you structure your time, you time block it, you put it in there so that you know exactly what you're doing at exactly what time.
Yeah.
I see. So I do it a little different.
Yeah. I want to hear it. How do you do it?
So I typically, what I try to do is I work from 9 till about 3, 4. And then what I try to do is take an hour or two to myself. Whether I go to the gym or I make something to eat or have a coffee, and I take a 2-hour block. And then after that, I do some follow-ups for an hour. And then after 7 p.m., it's about family time. So again, everything's different for different people. That works for me.
Yeah.
You do what works for you.
Yeah.
But it is a challenge because now you have to add in, my son plays basketball.
Nice.
So now you got to add that in.
Yeah.
Practices, games.
Yeah.
You got to add in, the friend that has an issue or a problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're in the real estate business, so now you have to add clients sometimes needing something urgent.
Yeah.
So I can get how it can be hard for a lot of people to do and to structure their day and have enough time to balance business.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think, the way society is right now, there's just so much noise every single day in the world. So it's really distracting you from all the things that you need to actually do for yourself in your life. People open up Instagram right now, and I don't know about you, but the moment I open up Instagram, I'm like, what was I doing? I'm so lost. I'm like, what was I looking for again? Do you ever experience that? I'm like, what is going on? So
well, I'm new to Instagram, so I don't. But I can see why people get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's very, very addictive, and I think if you're using it for business, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Obviously, free tool, you can create stuff. But for me, what I've tried to do is I look at my time spent,
Yeah.
and I
Okay,
try to
good.
keep it under, 30 minutes a day.
Nice. Yeah.
And if I keep it under 30 minutes a day, I feel good.
Yeah.
If I have over 30 minutes, I feel bad. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just
Wasted time.
I
Yeah.
wasted an hour on this thing
Yeah.
where I could have been working out, or I could have been doing something like constructive with my life.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Mhm.
But
One thing I did actually, what really helped me with Instagram, and I really go on Instagram and I'll actually use systems to post so that I don't get distracted. But if I'm going on there to kind of go look at something that I need to support for a family member or one of my coaching students and stuff, I realized the big distraction. So what I had to do years ago is I went to my actual followers list and I deleted every single person and I started fresh.
wow.
Because I was just like, you know what, there's so much noise on here that's popping up. Nothing is serving me. So I literally brought it down to 0 and just started again. Started following my husband, my mom, the important people. Reset. Like it felt so good.
Nice.
It took me a long time to actually do that. But once I did that, I felt like just a sense of peace.
Yeah.
You know, and
your algorithm probably wasn't full with all the.
It was just nonsense. I'm like, what does this even relate to? It's just, what is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I felt like that really helped me just have a better sense of clarity.
Yeah. And I think that just to add to what you're saying, like, business and balance I think it's an ongoing thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, life happens, there's going to be things that get in there, but just try your best to really put everything in order, organize your life, and put things in perspective of what's important and what's really not.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get clients, you get clients who, hey, I need this tomorrow. Mind you, you need a document or you need something, and it takes them 3 days to get it to you, right? So was it really that important? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it is in our industry.
And that's why I say, like, you can't make somebody's urgency. Everyone will like call the office or text you, and it's so urgent. They want you to get to it now. And it's like, but hold up, like your urgency really is not my emergency. Like, don't throw all that stress on me, right? Like you got what you're going on, what you got to get through the day. I got what I got to get through. And like, you know what I'm saying? It just might not be so urgent like you think. Yeah. Right? It can probably wait till tomorrow, or it can fit you in, right? But I feel like when you get to that place and you can literally just dominate and you have, you call the shots within your day, that's when you literally have your sense of peace. That's when you have your control. That's when you're mostly balanced. But when people are tugging you and they're pulling you left, right, and center throughout your day, you're like trying to crawl through the end of the day, like, oh my God, save me. Right? And that's where I feel like people definitely go through, like they get that anxiety feeling. They get that, that stress and, can lead to other things, right?
Yeah. And when you get those urgent calls, I mean, the urgent calls I've been getting lately, and just to kind of switch it up again, has been power sales.
I know, it's been crazy.
So power sales.
It's a big one.
What's been going on in the real estate industry of power sales that you've seen?
So as a realtor, I'm going to say I have not seen it this bad ever in my entire career. And I've been a realtor for many, many years. And a lot of my listings right now, I would say 90% of my listings right now are power of sale listings.
Wow.
90%. And that's crazy,
wow.
And a power of sale, for those of them that don't know, is pretty much because the mortgage rates have changed and they're higher and people can't actually afford the mortgage rates any longer. Some people might have been paying something like $2,500 a month for a mortgage, but now with the renewal of the rate with these interest rate hike, they might now be like at the $5,000. It's like double or $6,000, right? It was just crazy. And so because they can't afford it, they are missing payments now to the lender, to the banks. And so the banks are coming and they're, knocking on your door and saying, hey, we need to take this property to offset the debt that you owe us. And so that's what we're getting right now, this power of sale going on. And, if you do work with our office, we kind of come up with a very comprehensive strategy where we try to fight against, the lender, because we're on your side, and we'll try to get ahead of it, and we'll negotiate with the lender. And they want to balance their books. If you have somebody who's savvy and someone who's professional and a great, backing with the lawyers, we've done it time and time again, for the past couple of years now, where the lenders are actually settling for less than what they're actually owed, because they rather walk away with something, than nothing. So we've really had to be creative and figure out how we can make that work for the client, for the lender. And
and we've worked on deals too that we've done that too, and and the thing is to have a good relationship with lenders. I just speak from a mortgage perspective. You have to have good relationship with lenders
Yes.
because if you do, then you can make the call and say, hey, this is a scenario, this is a situation. How can we fix it? We can be proactive and get ahead of the problem as opposed to just waiting for something to happen and, the sheriff knocking on the door, because I've seen those situations too. And you're right. It's I've never seen it this bad.
Yeah.
I'm hoping in the next, they're saying in the next few years it should get better. But in the meantime, I think it's important for people to be proactive. Like we were talking about off air, it was, cut off all the fat. Make sure you can make your payments. And if you can't, then, get a real estate agent involved that knows what they're doing, like yourself or a mortgage agent or mortgage specialist who knows what they're doing, who can make the call, negotiate something, and now, okay, you have some time to properly sell your property, right? At that point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the issue here sometimes is a lot of realtors may not have good relationships like what I have in you as a mortgage broker, right? And so instead of, collaborating, they're still competing against each other when it's like, it's just different ends of the spectrum. There's so much education that you can give me as a realtor and vice versa. I can give you, and together we can make it work. Who's going to benefit here is the client. Absolutely. Right. And if we can come to a better understanding as to how can we look at this deal, how can we creatively make this appealing for everybody and then execute on that. There's nothing sweeter than that. So I think people need to really understand the importance of a good partnership and really good leaders. There's so many realtors. I think there's 86. I think last time we checked it was 86,000 realtors.
Nuts.
Right? Crazy. But how many of them are actually producing? How many are actually educated when it comes to the finance part of it? Because it's not really about just okay, I'm going to list this property and then get this check in, woohoo, right? Or I'm going to take a buyer client and then there's so many moving parts to it to unpack. Every deal is different. If you literally can find somebody that you can, run with, that can help you close this deal. There's nothing like it.
And you have to have some as a realtor too, and even as a mortgage broker, as a realtor, you have to have some insight on the financials of the client, right? And ask those questions because I found dealing with some realtors in the past, they had no clue, right? You're very efficient. You know exactly what's going on. Very organized. I know the mortgage. I know everything before we even talk to the client. But and in my space, I should know a little bit about what a realtor does too, so then I can be efficient with my job as too. And I think there's a lot of people online who like to separate the two.
Yes.
And really, the mortgage broker, beating down the realtor and vice versa, the realtor bringing down the mortgage broker. But we need each other. We're here, right? So
I think with realtors, it's because in school you're really trained okay, that's not it's kind of like a doctor. A doctor be like, okay, there's a specialist for that. Go and see them, right? And then you're pawned it off. If you can cultivate your industry enough to understand it at least enough to be hey, I get this is the money that you owe right now to the lenders. If I sell it for this, it's going to be a shortfall. It's not going to work. You need to have an understanding. Absolutely. You need to work with a mortgage agent. Hey, pull those stats off PeerView. Go and let me know what it is. Let's make this happen. We need to get to the finish line together.
And I need to know, hey, you know what? What is this property going for? Is there any conditions on financing? I have to know all of that stuff too. And I should be aware of exactly when the condition is and how much we're paying out, if there's going to be a penalty, so on and so forth, right? So there's a lot of collaboration with realtors and mortgage brokers that I think can improve, especially in the Toronto market, because I think 100%. Everyone is kind of free for all and kind of doing what they have to do. But I see very rarely do I see people like us coming together and working through it together. Right.
So. I think because a lot of professionals want to have that leverage to not take on the risk. I think that's what people try to mitigate is the risk factor. But if you can just look at the deal and work closely together and really look out for the betterment of the client, then, insurance is there, right? But you're doing the best that you can. You're bringing in your partner and you're disclosing to the client hey, this is what it is. We're going to work on this collaboratively and we're going to make this, work out for your best interest, right? And you're being transparent.
That's it.
Right?
Transparency. The word of the day. Transparency.
Transparency.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of times, realtors and mortgage brokers. That's the one thing I'm totally I'm sometimes too transparent. That's the problem, So, but if you're transparent with the other party, realtor, mortgage broker, and there's nothing to hide, then it makes the transaction so much easier to deal with, even if it is a tough transaction or whatever the case may be. But I just find in my past, there's been a rare times where a realtor has been transparent and vice versa. I've always been transparent, then maybe they weren't, or they just wanted to get the sale, so they didn't really care what I was doing, or vice versa. So
no, it's hard to work like that when it's very cloudy. You gotta be in it together, be in it to win.
Absolutely.
Not just look out for yourself. It's a team effort.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And another question I want to ask you, like realtors, obviously the market has changed in GTA and Toronto. Not a lot of properties selling. Obviously, I know you're selling a ton of properties, which is great. But how is the average realtor surviving out here? It's a tough market. I know I can answer from the mortgage side, but the realtor side, like what's going on out there?
Let me tell you, like it is crazy. If you are not a visionary in this market, it's going to be very hard for you to survive. You got to think about alternative routes to take right now if you're not selling real estate, because right now a lot of listings are there because of the power sale, because of people's backs against the wall. So that's what's happening. Even the buyers, we thought, buyers were going to be eating this season up, and they're not. They're actually not really keen on buying because they're still afraid of the fact that they might not be able to afford it. And they're also afraid of the fact that they have uncertainty with their jobs because let's not talk about all of the layoffs that are happening. So that's affecting our economy tremendously. Right?
And
so
and the same thing with mortgages. I mean, what we've seen is like house values coming down. So what's happening is, the traditional refinance, when you pull some money out because you want to clear off some debt or do a reno or stuff like that. Okay, the house was appraised 3 years ago. I bought it for 1.2. Well, that 1.2 now is $1 million or 900,000 or even 800,000. Now what do you do?
I know.
And again, lenders will only lend a certain amount of whatever that appraised value is. So now the value's gone to you bought for 1.2. The value's 900,000 now, and the mortgage is, let's say 8 or 7. You're already over the threshold because 80% is the max we can do in Canada.
So what do you do in that time? Like, that's the thing. Like, what are people actually doing? And I always have to take it back to scripture, guys. In Genesis, God talks about his creativity and how he's creative. He already teaches us that he's this creative God and he creates things, and he wants us to also be fruitful and multiply. And it's not, he's not talking per se about like having children, right? Because a lot of people misinterpret that scripture, but it's about, being creative and multiplying and just having dominion over your kingdom, right? That's what he has ordained for us. So I think in this season, you're seeing a lot of people actually going back into scripture and doing the work, and then now figuring out, like having an aha moment as to how are they going to get out of this mess? How are they going to figure it out for themselves? How are they going to, start to think outside the box and do something they never done to get something that they never had? If you're living in the property right now and you know that there's rooms that are available and you can't make your mortgage payments, then guess what? You may have to go and rent them out. You might have to put them on Airbnb, or you're just doing it privately. There's so many rooms right now. I never thought, Mark, I was going to see this on MLS. And I don't know if you've actually seen this. I got to send you some of these listings. There are room rentals on MLS going for like $600, $800. And this is literally the peanuts that realtors are having to divide right now to live off of. Like, imagine a commission check on that.
And just for a room.
A bedroom.
Wow.
I've never seen this in my days. It started off, basements, renting a basement, maybe renting a garden suite. Those were popular a couple years back when the permits were easy to attain. Now you're literally seeing like bedrooms, and also you're seeing like shared bedrooms on top of that. So it's like you'd have a bedroom, and then they're like, this is a shared bedroom space. That's how crazy the market is right now. I kid you not. Go and look for yourself.
That is nuts. And you know what? Like you said, mortgages, real estate, I've never seen it this bad.
No.
I'm hoping though that things take a change. And the silver lining in all of this is actually that we are going to lose realtors and mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
And, I say the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah.
So if you can survive this season, I think you'll be fine,
Yeah.
right? But so the silver lining is there'll be less realtors, there'll be less mortgage brokers, but we'll still be able, which means more business for us, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
survival
tough.
of the fittest, right?
Survival of the fittest.
That's literally what it is.
We'll
survival
see
when
when everything's done. We'll see who's still.
It was all those reality shows that really messed it up for us. Like walking around prancing in them high heels, and I sell this and it's easy. This work is not easy.
No,
this is hard work.
This is not selling sunset.
No, it's not selling sunset. I tell you that much. It's not. It's hard work, folks. And
not yet.
And not right now. And I don't know where the economy is going to go. Like no one can really predict it. They are saying, by 2028, 2029, things should start to lift. A lot of developers are really ambitious about that time frame. They're saying there's going to be a lot more people coming into our country, so they're going to be looking to purchase, and at that it might stabilize. But we still don't know because you can't really predict what the future is going to actually be, right?
Yeah, and the Canadian economy, I think personally, I would like the government to come in and do something.
Yeah,
I think it's almost that time. I think the reluctancy is they're putting all these programs in place that really don't do anything for us.
Yeah,
there's a few little programs here and there, but I think they need to really step in. And I think it's going to take one of these, political figures to really feel the heat from a lender. Now, mind you, it's a whole other conversation. They're probably in some of these lenders' pockets, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But I think the government has to step in and give relief to some of these homeowners because you can't sustain this. And I'm the most optimistic person. Like my mortgage went from 2,700 to 4,600, and I know all the angles.
You're a mortgage broker,
I know
of
all
course.
the angles. But
Yeah,
I
still couldn't beat it.
I was immune to it.
Yeah.
As well. So what does that mean? That means there's a serious issue and a serious problem here. So I think the government has to step in very soon to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's tough, and that's why I'm saying it really comes down to just being aware of the situation you're in and knowing when it's time to actually pivot and knowing when it's time to be humble. There's a lot of people right now where they're sticking to their guns. They might have this big house that they've had for years and there's only 2 people living in it, or they're the only one living in it because their kids have kind of left the nest, right? And it's like they're looking at themselves like, I can't afford this.
Yeah.
Imagine you have a mortgage. Yeah. You have the property taxes, you have all the bills that comes with the house, and then you still have to buy, you have all these other little bills.
Car payment,
et cetera,
it's
crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the hydro companies just pull these numbers from. Do you feel I feel like when I get a bill, I'm like, how did you come up with that number? How is it so crazy?
I can tell you how they came out. They rolled some dice and
they're like, that's what they're paying.
That's $500
and then we're just forced to pay it. It's insane.
And then good luck trying to get them on the on the phone.
Not.
Yeah.
That's why I've even thought about being creative and thinking about maybe I want to just do 100% off the grid solar panels, figure out my own water. I don't know. Sometimes I get crazy like that because I'm like, I can't figure out how you guys are getting these numbers. Yeah. It's insane.
Not a bad idea. I've thought about it. And to the point where, obviously you're an international realtor, to the point where, you think about, hey, maybe it's better to live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's great to be Canadian. It's great to be, we have free healthcare, so on and so forth. Weather's not great, but maybe I should just come here 6 months a year as opposed to,
and figuring that out. And to be honest, a lot of entrepreneurs are leaving because there's going to come a point where this business model here in Canada just doesn't make sense for you.
Yeah.
And whenever you get to that point, we hope you come and talk to us so we can help you navigate that, right?
Absolutely.
But it might be for you to just come up with some sort of strategic business model for yourself and figure out do you want to wait until your actual golden years to enjoy life? If you ever wanted to go, let's say to the sunny state, Florida, or you want to go to Texas or wherever it is, do you have to wait until you become a certain age to live that way?
Yeah.
Or is it something that you can actually attain now and it is achievable?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what we do. And I've done mortgages in the States as well.
Yep.
You've done sales in the States as well.
Yeah.
So it is obtainable. So if people are interested, they
Mhm.
can contact us, and
Yeah.
and we can look at the options
Yeah.
of even keeping your house here and then
Yeah.
maybe refinancing and buying a house
Yeah.
down
And
there.
leverage it.
Leverage
Yeah,
it,
for
yeah.
sure.
And now you have two places to live. You can go back and forth.
Mhm.
Quality of life over, quantity, right?
Yeah.
So
That's what they say.
quality is,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
And it's one of those things where I think it's because a lot of Canadians they're scared to take that leap because they don't know the right people,
Yeah.
right? But it's all about just having the conversation to see if it's something that's sometimes you think like you get into your mind that something is not attainable for you, or I don't know what to do, or I'm not making that much money, or but if somebody just comes and puts it on the table for you and like throws it out there and is like, yeah, this is how you can do it. You actually have more money than you thought.
Mhm.
Like there's some crazy things that we've done. Like you can actually get some money for people's down payments, which I thought was great right now because a lot of people need that.
Yeah.
They just need to kind of like X out the fear and like take that leap and decide to
Yep.
just talk to a professional.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I find it's just the reluctancy sometimes.
Yes.
It's just because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But you really just have to focus and, use tools to check your credit and make sure everything is good. And then
Mhm.
talk to a professional like us where we can help,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Because there is options out there.
Mhm.
You just may not know.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I
sure,
mean?
for sure.
So,
And that's the thing, talking about like deciding and execution, I think a lot of people are stuck in their mindset because of like the way they were raised and like just thinking about, all the things that maybe their parents taught them, or like their family members, relatives, the aunties, uncles, all of that, right? And they just feel like, it's never been done in my family, so I can't do it. Or something is frowned upon, like a certain lifestyle or a certain way to think. But I think if you want to achieve success in property ownership, or just wealth with business, or just overall success and prosperity, you need to be the one to break that generational cycle of your family and take the leap and be bold.
absolutely.
And that might mean maybe distancing yourself from a lot of people, and sometimes even certain family members if they're not serving you any longer.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that like you've gone through, like obviously being a successful mortgage broker, owning your own firm, like that's really huge accomplishment. Like is there obviously like something like that in your life where you're like, you know what, this no longer serves me anymore and I want to become this person, then you had to make a hard decision like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been several times I feel like I've lived 4 lives already. But my background's the restaurant industry, so I
Yeah.
worked in the restaurant industry for many years, ran a chain of restaurants, and was really successful. I was making great money.
Mhm.
Everything was great. Learned a lot from the business. I had a great mentor,
Mhm.
so he taught me a lot about business and
Mhm.
what business was about. And I got to sit in on these intense meetings of,
Mhm.
$30 million purchases and,
Mhm.
acquisitions and stuff like that, more of the finer details of
Mhm.
restaurants. So, um, and when I left the industry, I was kind of in a whirlwind of what I was going to do.
Mm.
Luckily, a friend put me on to the real estate. So originally, I was going to get my real estate license
Oh, wow.
first, and then we decided, okay, maybe because he was a mortgage broker
Mhm.
at a bank.
Mhm.
So I was a mortgage, or he said, you get your mortgage license.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I should be saying this, but the banks probably know already. But he was in the bank, and then if he couldn't get it approved for whatever reason, he would then send it to me,
Oh,
and
nice.
then I would do it through the brokerage
Yeah.
and get it approved. So we had a kind of a system going on.
Yeah.
And again, it was just for the fact that we wanted to help people,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if a bank can't help you, if a bank can't help
Yeah.
you, a broker has more options,
Yeah.
right? And a broker is
Mm.
able to help
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and provide different options.
Yeah. They can
So
facilitate that based on like the relationships you guys have with all these other lenders, right?
that's right. So
Okay.
that's how I actually started my business. And
Mm.
again, it was tough at the beginning. Everyone's like, "What is that? What do
Yeah.
you do? This and
Yeah.
that." And I remember my first year, like I made $5,000. That's it.
Gosh, brutal.
Yeah.
At least that was your first year?
My first year.
Me as a realtor, I made $0.
Zero?
$0 in my first year.
So what?
was
How did you?
brutal.
So how? Like, what was the mindset then? Like going into your second year not making? Were you like close to giving up? Or?
No, you know what? I worked so hard to get my license that I decided that I'm like, this has to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care. I'm like, this is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do whatever. And it took me, I went to the first brokerage. I'm not going to say the name, but I felt like I didn't fit in. I was a downtown realtor. You know, it's no joke showing condos there, and no realtors, you can relate to this, like the millions of lock boxes on P1 or wherever, and you got to go. It's like a nightmare. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so I did that for a whole year and I didn't close anything. And then the second year I closed a few leases here and there, and started to get my feet wet. And I had a really good mentor. You know, God bless her. She's passed away now, but she was a great mentor doing the bridal path. So I was doing her open houses at the Bridal Path, which was so awesome. Imagine in your second year, you're like, what? I'm doing open houses at the Bridal Path right now?
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I really got, you know, hands-on experience of like just dealing with a completely different demographic, you know, being able to take content and get like my marketing game up and learn a little bit about that. And then by my third year, I was well on my way. I was making some tremendous amount of money. I was already hitting my 6-figure mark. It was not easy though. It was very difficult. And that was a blessing because, you know, to get to 6 figures, obviously in 3 years is like, that's literally something that people dream of. But I literally did everything. I door knocked, I did cold calling, I did open houses for free. You know, I wasn't getting paid to do that for my colleagues. I was doing everything and I just had no shame because again, it took me so long to get my license. And you know, what's worse is like when you fail an exam, those exams are 3 hours long. And so, like literally, I failed one exam and I was like, okay, the next time I got to really pull my socks up and like, I got to get this because I was determined. And so I put in everything that I had to make it happen, to make it work.
Good for you. The 3 hours for the
3 hours.
exam?
And if you have to go to the bathroom, they will follow you.
Well, the mortgage exam ain't that long.
They will follow you, Mark. Imagine you're like, I need to use the restroom, and they will follow you and wait until, because they think that they want to mitigate the risk of you cheating.
Wow.
People would cheat, right? So they want to mitigate that risk. Yeah.
Well, the mortgage is not that long. You can actually do it if you really want to in a couple weeks. So
nice.
And it's online, but I remember doing it, and as I said before, I had someone that I was with, and she didn't want me to do it. She was like, "Oh, you give this up. You only make $5,000 your first year." Thank God I didn't listen to her, and I kept on it because it's taken me on this journey.
So wait, you just said you were with somebody. Yeah. So it was like a spouse at that time type thing.
Yeah, it was a girl. It was a girlfriend at the time.
And she didn't believe in you and said quit.
She said, "Wow." Quit. She said, "Quit," and you know, and it's not to knock her. It was tough. We were going through a tough time. We were trying to figure it out, and you know. And,
but look who you are today. Yeah. Imagine you quit.
Well, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest.
What would you have done?
I don't know. I probably, I don't know. I'd be living under a bridge or something.
Oh my gosh, no.
But yeah, it all worked out at the end, and very, very happy. And, you know, I'm in my, 14th year.
Amazing.
This, so
Congratulations.
It's been really, really positive. So I'm just looking forward to the next wave that's coming, and hopefully this market corrects itself and gets back to what it was, or maybe even a resemblance of what it was. Right?
I don't know if it's gonna get back to what it was, because like that market, people were putting in $200,000 over asking firm, $300,000 over asking firm, $400,000 firm on places that they weren't even seeing.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was literally like, I have not seen that before. So I'm kind of like, I know it's really, really bad right now. But I don't know like if we're gonna ever get back to that. And I hope we don't, because things were like really overpriced. But I just feel it for a lot of my clients, and not my clients, just regular people like really struggling and going through it right now, because it is really affecting them, you know, in every single way possible. And I just pray that they'll find a way to kind of get out of it. There's lawsuits every corner that you turn right now. Lenders are coming for people.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a quick story about a personal situation that happened to me. I got caught in the matrix, as you were talking about. No conditions, you know, all in. I actually bought a property, and it was, I won't mention the amount, but it was a significant amount. And I bought a property, put a down payment, put 25% down. Everything was good. And I bought right at the peak of the market, right at the top peak. It was probably 2022, early 2022, mid 2022. Going into 2023. And I thought I was smart because I
Mhm.
was like, hey, the neighbor sold for X amount.
Yeah.
I'm actually, same house, I'm
Yeah.
buying it for cheaper.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know, this is a good deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait a couple years. It's going to be, you know,
Yeah.
increase in value, and I'm going to flip it and be a
Yeah.
millionaire.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way. So
Oh no.
it actually flipped around, and
Yeah.
I got caught in that 2023, 2024 bubble where I
Yeah.
had to actually sell it.
Yeah.
And I sold that at a loss,
Oh no.
a significant
Yeah.
loss. And
Yeah.
but
And a lot of people are caught up in that.
yeah.
A lot of people are
And
caught
I'm
up in
glad.
that.
I'm kind of glad now. You know, just looking at the way the market is now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got out of it early.
Yeah. Because it would have been worse.
Oh, would have been 10
It
times
would've been worse.
10
Yeah.
times worse, right?
Yeah.
I would have judgments and this
Yeah.
and that. So
Yeah.
and it would have went somewhere else. But
Mm.
I'm glad that it actually worked out. And for people that are in that situation right now, my advice to them is try to get out of it as soon as you can. If your situation's bad,
Mhm.
try to get out of it. You know, I could say it, rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rip
Yeah.
off the Band-Aid and just let it heal.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
don't sit there and try to be,
Yeah.
you know, proud and strong.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna save this. If it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
let it go.
And you know, I think it's because a lot of people have a lot of pride. You know, when you look at our parents, they made some really bold moves.
Yep.
Like my mom, you know, she was born in the Philippines, then she came here. Like obviously my grandparents, and
Yep.
but my grandparents took that leap to come to a place that was
Yep.
so unknown to them to really search for a better life. And
Yep.
you know, my dad is Jamaican, and same thing. They took a bold leap to come here and just, you know, settle. I always say, like, you're not a tree, you can move, right? Right.
Yeah.
So there's that saying. So like if it doesn't serve you anymore and it doesn't align with, you know, your pocket, because it's over leverage and it's just too expensive and doesn't make any sense. Like
let it go.
let it go. It's
Yeah,
fine. There's
yeah.
properties everywhere. Like you can figure it
Yeah,
out. Don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
about how people are gonna perceive you and you know,
Yeah.
oh your reputation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta like live for yourself.
Yeah, and find a experienced realtor like yourself to sell it.
That'd
right?
be great.
So and because that's the other
Mhm.
component. You know, you need someone that understands the market and that someone that can go in and attack it. And
Yeah.
I've seen you in action. You attack everything, which I love.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. And that's I
Yeah.
think we work well together because
Yeah.
you're on it,
Yeah.
right? So,
No, we really take pride in what we do, you know. And one thing I'll say, you know, to the viewers right now is that you really want a realtor who actually owns property. You know, funny enough, a lot of realtors don't actually own any real estate.
wow.
You know what I mean? And they're practicing real estate. And there's just a little bit more depth when somebody actually has a portfolio and they understand real estate. You know, they understand it a completely different way. I've been in the real estate game since 2009.
Wow.
You know, it's been a long, long time, right? And just understanding real estate and owning real estate for that long and being a landlord and, you know, buying and flipping and renovating and going through different mortgage terms. And, you know, when I started my very first house, my mortgage was $800 a month.
Wow.
It was my rate was 1.35.
I wish.
Okay,
Oh my God.
1.35. I'm like,
that's a dream.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
and imagine, so living with my husband, like it's you $400. Like
Perfect.
it was perfect. I was like, oh
perfect.
yeah, breeze.
Sit on it.
You know, I'm like, can we make it any cheaper? I think back to the conversations now, like make it cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Now, like my mortgage is like crazy big, right?
Yeah.
But you know, there's just a lot of depth when it comes to realtors really understanding it. So when you are searching for a realtor and you are searching for the right mortgage broker, find somebody who actually asks those questions. Don't feel bad. Like, hey, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, do you own any properties? You know, what have you gone through? Learn from their experiences. I'm an open book. Like, I will tell you all of the good, the bad, the ugly, and all of the, you know, experiences that I've gone through because I really care about my clients.
Absolutely.
I want them to succeed. I'm not really in it just for that one commission check. I want to have the longevity of this relationship carry out so I can help, you know, their children or like help with that vacation home or take you to Florida, you know, things like that.
And it's sales, right? And that's what I always say. It's I want to do the best job for the client because I want them to tell friends and I want their friends to tell other friends.
Yeah.
And that is the cheapest way of marketing. I have agents and I've worked with agents that pay for leads.
Yeah.
I've never really paid for a lead. I mean, I've done a couple ads and this and that, like very minor stuff, but I've never had to pay for leads because I've always had good relations with my clients, right? And I've always asked them after the transaction, you know, how was your experience?
Nice.
And again, if I can't help you now, hey, tell a family friend or, you know, right after the transaction, hey, guess what? I'm gonna, are you close? Okay, perfect, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, tell a friend or family member. I'd love to help them as well.
Yeah.
Just tell them that they know John.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I take good care of them. Right.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
No, it does. And, you know, you got to be willing to go above and beyond for your clients. You know, there's some people, they will sell a house and then you can't hear from them ever again. And it's like, what? Like people are human. They need people. And especially if they trusted you with one of the biggest things and investments in their life, like try and stick around and be there for them because you will get repeat business if you did a good job, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's what it really comes down to.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there's another thing also that we want to talk about is the fact that just being a male and female in the business, there's a big difference.
Interesting. Yeah. There's now from a male's perspective, I think we, you know, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. We kind of dominate, I would say, both businesses generally.
Yeah.
But being a woman and you're on a mission for real estate and to build your businesses. How has that been for you, being a woman in the real estate industry, and has it had challenges?
Oh, absolutely. I have definitely, I have a construction background. For those of you who, you know, follow me, I used to, you know, be in that space. And definitely being a woman does play a factor because it's like you are predominantly around like the men, right? And you really, you know, people always say, oh, women, sometimes they act like, they act a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more harsh, or they're draconian about certain things, right? And it's because they're trying to prove themselves around the men. But it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, a woman who's educated and knows what she knows, like she's gonna shine through all of the fluff. You know, absolutely. You don't gotta really push it and be this harsh person and, you know, bring out a characteristic that's really not you just to think that you need to prove yourself. So I think it's just about like the education and spending time with self and always showing up because you're there for purpose, not popularity. So I think that's what social media has done is they've tainted the minds of a lot of people. And I'm just speaking like on the woman's side of things because I am female, that we can't get caught up with all of the noise and the trying to be like, you know, certain things and trends and following that because we want to fit in. But just do your own thing because you have your own gift, you have your own blessing, and you are blessed to be a blessing. So shine your light on, you know, other people that need your help because those people are looking for you just the way you are, but they just don't realize you exist. They don't realize you exist. You just got to show up and they're going to sign on the dotted line to have your service.
Absolutely.
Now, as a man,
I mean, it's
black male.
Right? That's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole thing.
but you know, as a man in the real estate industry, the mortgage industry, yes, it is dominated by us. I think you know, my ethnicity does add a layer to it. I feel like I do have to know more than the next agent because they're already looking at me through a
sideways.
A little bit sideways? a little bit. But I think once people start to talk to me and understand that I know my stuff, I think what happens is they relax and they say, okay, you know what, let Mark handle this. So I've had some pushback, you know, many years ago, not so much now. Again, there's a perception, even when I go to these events, you know, we're underrepresented, you know, especially in the banks and stuff like that. And I think that hopefully will change over the years. And it's my mission to bring on, you know, not only anyone that wants to learn, but, you know, our people as well, so that they can learn the business and be efficient and provide for their families. And it doesn't matter if, you know, you're, you know, black, white, green, yellow, it doesn't matter to me. So it is something that I am very passionate about is helping people learn the business and learn it the right way. Because I actually learned from a mentor that was amazing, great, and we're still friends to this day. I talked to him on Friday. It's like, when are you coming for a drink? I'm like, soon. I got to make some money first. But so he's amazing. So I pass it forward because he he actually taught me so much, and he changed my life. And I tell him every time we go out for a drink, he never pays for a drink because I won't let him. I'm that type of guy. I'm like, listen, you're not paying for a drink. I take care of it, because he actually changed my life by getting me into this business. Right.
That's amazing. So speak about that transition, because there's a lot of people right now watching that maybe they're considering getting into real estate, whether it's being a mortgage broker or becoming a realtor, right?
Yeah.
When you transitioned from the restaurant business and you made that call and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do something different and I'm going to get into mortgages and get into that real estate space. How was that for you? Were people taking you seriously at all? Because they still might have had that stigma as you being, oh yeah, you're in the restaurant business, right?
Yeah. It was difficult at first. So like I said, the first 2 years I was doing the same things as you, knocking on doors, networking events, I did everything. Open houses, like random open houses, walk in, meet the realtor. Hey, I'm the mortgage broker. Here's my card. And it seemed like nothing was working at the time, but I did stick with it. And the transition was tough. It was tough because I think I was telling you before, I worked a 9 to 5, and then from 5 to close, I did. So imagine doing that for 2.5 years, because I had to pay bills, right?
Yeah,
so I needed some income coming in, and $5,000 a year is, not going to do it.
No.
That's
like your mortgage now.
That won't even.
That's 1 month now.
That won't even. That's 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
that's
it's crazy. Yeah.
So it is quite different, but I'm glad I took the transition. And to be honest, it took me, I'd say 2.5 to 3 years, probably the same amount of time as you, before I found my footing. And I was like,
let's go. You got into your rhythm.
And
it's so sweet when you get into your rhythm, when you find yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why I always like to say to my coaching clients is that you really got to develop that. You got to find that purpose first. So you find it, you should be on a constant pursuit of finding your purpose. And then you want to go out there and develop your purpose. And once you've developed it, then now you can actually go out there and deploy it and go and put out your service or your product or whatever it is you have to offer.
100%.
Right. But you really need to cultivate like who you are, and don't try and do what other people are doing because you want the wealth that you think that they have. Right. Because everyone is blessed with their own gifts. So make sure you stay on track. And it shows like, you had a calling for that. You followed, you were bold enough to not let fear hold you back. You took that leap, and now you're seeing the success of that, and you're in the space. And it's not always good chapters or good seasons. I mean, I'm sure you've gone through, I've gone through it in real estate,
Yeah, there's roller coasters. There's roller coasters. And just to speak on entrepreneurship in general, business is not for the weak, you know, and especially commission business. I think we were saying it earlier today, like, there's some months where you're laughing and everything is great. And the money's coming in and it's rolling in. And there's months where you're in the negative.
Exactly.
And you're coming out of
you're
pocket.
Like, what was happening? Like, we were talking, we're actually laughing, talking about, us living the high life and like the things that we were doing a couple years ago. You were saying you were going to the grocery store and you used to get your fruits cut for you. I was telling you I haven't been in a grocery store for over 10 years. And now I had to humble myself because obviously what's going on economy wise, and I'm going through the aisles now. So if you ever catch me in a grocery store, say hello to me. But I had to just really, and a lot of people are really checking themselves right now because they're looking at their bottom line and they're like, the math is just not mathing. And it's okay to pivot and do that.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to scale. And like, we're human. We're all just trying to figure it out.
That's it.
So.
What's your favorite thing about grocery shopping?
Oh my gosh. So the one thing that I actually love is when I can go into the same grocery store and all the things that I usually get are in the same places because I'm a fast person. I'm in and out of that bad boy. Like, I don't play. Like, I'm not lingering. Like, I already know what's in, how many calories is in what and what. And I'm quick with it.
I see.
So I just love a clean grocery store.
Okay.
Something that is not, what I can't stand is overcrowded grocery stores. If I see that and when I walk in, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want to wait in the line for, like, this is too much. So I have my times, I have my rhythm. I know, like, I'm very efficient with everything. Some people can be busy and some people can be like actually efficient and productive. And I like to choose the efficiency part and the productive part. If I see that there's too much in there, I'm like, nah, it's not happening.
Next.
I'll go home and do laundry or something, and I'll be like, I'll get to you like either later or tomorrow. But
fair enough.
I typically have my days, and I've now mapped it out.
Nice.
I had an amazing lady, Paula, who was with me for over a decade, and before her, somebody else, and they did wonders. And I always like to say, you know, if you're not good or you don't desire to do something in the household, hire it. Fire yourself from that and go hire somebody if you have the means to do it. For me, I really chose just really putting my clients first and making sure that, you know, my husband was still, you know, getting all the things that, you know, he would kind of expect from me, like my part. My part, like in our marriage, we have like roles, you know, like I am not the garbage man. He does the garbage, you know, my husband, not Mark, my husband, my husband. Mark is not my husband, full disclosure, right? But my husband will do like the garbage, and he will, you know, walk the dog like most of the time. And I'm the person who's going to make sure lunches are packed so he can, you know, get out into the road fast, and I'll do the cooking and stuff like that. Cleaning, absolutely not. I still have a cleaner.
Okay, fair enough.
That's one thing I'm like, I just can't. Like, there's too many things going on,
You're a busy
right?
lady. You're a busy lady.
Yeah, but you fire yourself from some things that, again, you don't desire to do, right? And if I can have that time back, and most people, when you get to a certain place in your career, you're going to realize how valuable your time is. And I'd rather spend that time with my husband than be, you know, scrubbing all the bathrooms and all that stuff, you know?
Well, time is money, right?
Yeah.
And it's an old cliche, but it actually reigns true, especially today, because I don't know about you, but I'm getting to the point where I'm getting older, and it seems like there's less time.
Oh my gosh, it goes so fast. It goes so fast, time. Like the moment you get up, and I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm still like, oh my gosh, like there's just still so many things to get done. You know? And then you look at it and you're like, how is it that time already? Absolutely. Like I thought I was on a roll here, you know? So
yeah, and same with me. I'm just I woke up pretty early this morning too, and I'm trying to, what do I have to do for tomorrow? What do I have to do? Because I didn't get a ton of stuff done today that I wanted to get done. But nevertheless, it's you know, time management, time and money go hand in hand. Right?
They do.
So,
yeah. Well, this has been such a fun talk with you. We hope that we brought you value, everybody. May God bless you abundantly. We look forward to seeing you. You know, just come and join the talk with us. We're here. We're going to be here weekly, just pouring into all of you. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with somebody that you may know that might value from our conversation. But until the next one, God bless you.